Your thoughts, Ryan? What are your initial feelings when you stand on the edge of this?
It's too easy.
It's too easy. Yeah. All right.
That's sad. I didn't bring my bike down. Alright, so through this video, I'm going to be taking you through one of the most incredible filming site experiences I've ever had with a professional athlete. Mark Matthews invited me out for a couple days to check out this one feature that he's calling the Mega Drop. You might have already seen some of his videos on it, but I'm going to give you my perspective on it and kind of how the whole thing came together. So let's check out some highlights and then I'll talk after. Cheers. You.
I have such a quick moment to get that speed right. Okay. Holy shit. Finally happened, dude.
Dude. He surprised all of us. Look at that clean landing, man. Holy.
That's not small.
No.
But you know what? It's less scary feeling than I thought it would be. I thought it would be... Dude, it doesn't feel gnarly at all. It's so mellow, you could easily hit that.
Mark had put so much effort into it, and I cannot express how much effort went into this Mega Drop. You see the YouTube videos, you see his little social updates, but nothing compares to seeing it in person and realizing that he moved most of that by himself, by hand, with a shovel and some wheelbarrows. That's just something you have to respect from an athlete like that. But let's get into the feature. Basically, it's way bigger than you think it is, just like anything Mark does. YouTube and GoPros and Insta360 cameras do not do it justice. Being there on site, I can tell you it is absolutely massive. The first day we got there, it was a bright sunny day. It felt rushed. He called me kind of just a day or two before he was leaving to go to Europe, to go to Red Bull Hardline, to be kind of an ambassador for one of his brands out there. But it felt a little rushed. So he called me, we drove out together. I had all the camera gear set up. I had not seen this before I got there, and it was way bigger, like I said, than I recognized through the videos. He's like, what do you think of it? I was like, it's big. Yeah, it's big. And for the rest of the time, I was just focusing on getting the camera angles and finding the framing that worked and getting all the camera settings right. And he was just doing some run-ups to it to make sure he was confident on it. As he was doing those run-ups, we finally got the cameras set up. It was go time, and I've never seen it in Mark's face before, but you could tell he was a little reserved.
It's gonna be intense. Quite intense.
He's a little reserved on his decision. Not that the jump wasn't good or the drop wasn't good or wasn't built right, but the run-in did have some like loose bumps and rollers coming into the drop, which was hard to like get a consistent speed and a consistent feel for him. So he was nervous about that. And then he was asking me questions about like, oh, like, do you think that, he was asking me like, what do you think that like, lip is going to be a problem, or do you think like I'll have the speed to get into it? And I was just like, dude, I'm just taking video. This is well beyond me. Like maybe snowboarding, I can tell you. I've had some experience with these big drops on a snowboard into powder, but this is your baby. I got to trust your instincts on it, because I can't push you or pull you back from this. It's your call, and that's the big thing with these pro athletes is, unless you're another pro athlete, which there are some videographers, it's really hard to pump them up or bring them down or level their emotions. And he took a few more run-ins, wasn't really confident on that, and he actually backed away from it. And that was something that you could tell was really hard for him. He's a guy that hits anything, and he'd been building this. He'd been looking at it for months, and he backed away.
Okay, so I'm gonna call it for the day and not hit this. I'm just not in the right mindset. The run-in's feeling pretty chunky and loose, so I'm gonna pack it down really hard, give it another week to settle. I'm off to Rebel Hardline tomorrow to see all the guys shred and girls, and it's gonna be pretty insane. So I'm gonna come home inspired, ready to send it. Just need to get in the right mindset. I'm not in the right mindset today. I'm taking way too many run-ins. Anytime I take more than like 3 or 4 run-ins, it never works in my favor. So I just have to trust my gut, and I've done a bit of calculating now. I'm pretty confident this is gonna work perfectly. So I just need to come back here and literally hit it in like the first 5 minutes of taking run-ins the next time I come back here, and I know it's gonna go. I look at it from down here. The lining looks 10 times bigger from the top or from the bottom than from the top. That's really confidence inspiring. But as soon as I get to the top, I'm shaking. So we're gonna clean up the top and then come back here in a week. How's that?
It's always the athlete's call. If they want to drop it for the day and not do it, that's totally their call, and I'm 100% happy with whatever decision the athlete makes. And that was that day. I was like, dude, that was the right call. We came home. On the way home, we were kind of laughing because he's like, yeah, like I don't know why I was feeling so much pressure to get this done before I went to Red Bull Hardline over in Europe there. And I was like, yeah, you got to be in the right mindset, dude. Like, I'm not going to push you. I'm not going to hold you back, but I'm not going to be the reason you hit this just because my cameras are set up. It was really cool just to experience it. So the next time we went out, he ended up bringing a friend of his named Brendan, and that guy was a real awesome character. He was exactly the vibe that Mark needed. You could tell immediately when we got there. I knew the spots I wanted to set up for camera gear. We had our drone buddy out and flying drones around, and so we were able to talk, and you could tell that Brendan and Mark were just so good to talk together. They were walking through everything. They were speaking the same language. They were talking about how fast you should be going off this, where you should take off. Like, it was just, you could tell Mark's nerves were brought way down just by having somebody that could speak that language and that could calm his nerves. He had evened out that run in a little bit, so it didn't have quite the rollers and roots and loose dirt that it had before, so it was a lot more consistent for the run in. I was expecting Mark to do at least kind of 3 or 4 run-ins, even from just up a little ways, not the entire line. But after a couple run-ins, I think he was feeling really good, but he wasn't telling anybody, which is fine. We were kind of half ready, 3/4 ready. And so he came in, flying in, and I thought it was just gonna be another run-in to check the speed, but you could tell he wasn't gonna slow down. And so I got ready as best I could and got the first capture, and to hear him land, because I'm looking at a screen, to hear him land and hoot and holler through it, you knew he'd landed it well, and then it went really good. So as soon as he stopped at the bottom after the berm there. I was able to just look at where he landed, and I was just absolutely stoked that he got it just right. The timing was perfect. His speed coming in was perfect, and it's almost like that guy knows how to build trails and drops. So he's probably hit 1,000 big drops just like that. So it was really cool to see. And yeah, the biggest thing about it was that like this place is, yeah, no one's hit this. Mark, that was the very first drop anyone's ever hit on this thing. And that's the big difference, because like it's not a drop that's bigger than everything at Whistler. I'd say it's one of the bigger ones, as big as some of the bigger ones at Whistler. But the ones at Whistler have been hit by thousands of people, even the big ones. So for Mark to be able to build this himself, ride off it, land cleanly, with just the right speed, and have that confidence was something else. It's another level than just watching somebody hit a big drop that somebody else has before, right? And that was the really cool thing about it. So Mark came up, got stoked. All the nerves were just out the window for both him and Brendan. And yeah, Mark was just so amped to get Brendan to hit this thing, and went up and towed him in and said, "This is the speed, you just follow me, you got this." And it was cool to see that conversation go, and then they hit it together, and boy, was that a cool hit. They both went off, both so stoked, and then to see Mark have somebody to share that with was really, really cool. So at the end of the day, absolutely incredible feature. And yeah, Mark and Brendan are absolute legends for hitting that thing, and I was just so happy to be on site for that, to be able to experience that in my own way and to capture it was something that I'll never forget. And thanks to Mark and Brendan for just making that one of the best days I've ever been on site. So cheers.
Yeah, it's definitely got pointy vertical, you know? Like, yeah, probably. So now I want to get a shot where like no bags or people are visible. Yeah. By the ride, if there's any like longer lens shots you can think of, that's cool. I just don't want you right on the side, like kind of you can be hidden if you want another angle of it. And then then we can film an outro and we're done pretty much. Yeah.